Hi, good evening. A call out. I'm not a founder. I'm one of the marketeers or one of the employees of the company, and I had marketing for non US market for Netradyne. Now, a quick snapshot. What is Netradyne? We are about 10 years old in the business. We are a B2B SaaS company into fleet management and fleet safety, talking about $250 million ARR with clients like Pepsi, Unilever, Nestle, Amazon, Shell, and ton of those operating in 10 countries. We are Series D, and earlier this year we were called out as the first unicorn of this year. We were also called out. Thank you. We were also called out as one of the 4 deep tech unicorns that country has produced. So we were one among 4 out of 117 unicorns that the country has produced. Now, what I'm going to share today is from the marketing perspective. What we are doing, what approach we are taking to really drive the marketing without really spending a lot of money. Because the fact of the matter is, even if we get funding in the startup world, there's always a question mark. Where are we spending? What is the return we are getting? But in most cases, we don't get funding easily, right? So how do we really market? And that's what I'm going to share. Next slide, please. So this is a report by McKinsey. Um, uh, and one more call out. I'm going to talk more about the B2B business than the B2C or the D2C. Oh, I can do it here. Thank you. So this stat is about how a B2B buyer buys. And the study says that about 17% of the decision is influenced by the salesperson. That means your sales team, yourself. You also sell. If you're Series A, B, C, right? A large part is being played by brand, right? We heard from Mr. Gupta about when Mr. Dhoni came on board, how the sales multifolded, right? That changed the perception, right? I don't think the sales effort wise much might have changed. Of course, there might be some change, but the brand perception plays a big role, right? But who do we build the brand for? Is it for just the customers? Not really. You also look at media and influencers. Now, how does it matter? iPhone launches new model, and all of us are out there to buy one without really checking whether it is really worth, whether it is really good, what more it has got. It is getting sold, and media is playing a big role in that context, right? A third party endorsements always have a big influence in our mindset versus a seller of that company, right? And that's what Netradyne is heavily focused on. The third bit, talent. We all struggle, right? Attracting talent, number one, because everybody wants to join, Amazon's. Okay, that's a bad example today, right? But large brands, right? We don't get that easily, right? Once you attract, then retain also, right? मेरा बेटा तो गूगल में काम करता है, द फैमिली फील्स गुड अबाउट दैट. मेरा बेटा नेत्रडाइन में काम करता है, कौन सी डाइन में काम करता है? That's the question you get. So you always have that challenge as well. And the fourth bit, which is equally critical, is your investors, right? Money matters, but then, is it just the investment, or how can we make them feel good, beyond the standard matrices that we have in our Excel sheets? Standard activity, what we all do, we have been doing as well as Netradyne. Ton of pipeline activities, demand generation activities, events, conferences. Now it is the world of AI. So you're looking at beyond SEO, AEO, GEO, and I'm sure some of these may be unknown to you, but we can talk in detail offline probably. But that's a typical marketer we do. But coming back to the brand, that's where the magic happens, right? And it has got 3 stages to it. One, you got to be visible to your target audience. The one list, that we just spoke about, those 4 categories. You got to be visible, right? Now you're visible. Second, you got to be trustable, right? MS Dhoni joined. The trust factor just boomed up. But can all of us do it? Probably not, right? Because he came in as an investor, it became easier, right? So how do we build that trust? Because if you don't have trust, you will be having always a price challenge, or a price negotiation with your potential customers. यार 100 रुपए कम कर दो, 50 रुपए कम कर दो, all that will continue, right? But the third piece, which is actually the ultimate goal of any branding activity, is authority. Now, going back to the example of Apple iPhone, right? They have built that authority that people buy because people believe, and they pay the price. The same sort of features will come at one third of the cost, but we still want to buy Apple. That's the authority, and it's a journey, right? It doesn't come overnight, but ultimately every brand wants to get to a stage where I can drive the price, where I can drive the demand without really pumping a lot of money. If you go if you go to Apple's LinkedIn page, you will not see any post being made, because with their product they have built so much, they don't have to really spend a lot on the digital activities. Of course, they do spend on ATL and BTL. Now, how do we build that? All of us have heard about 4 P's of marketing, right? If you have not heard, these are the ones. Product, price, place, promotion have been there, and now these are evolving as the customer base is evolving, as the noise in the market is evolving. Our strategy is also needs to change. So product is not about what you have to sell versus what pain we address. At Netradyne, we are addressing the problem of driver safety. That is the problem I'm solving. It's not about driver I450, that the product name that I have. That doesn't matter to them. To my potential customer, what matters to them is how does it help them, right? Next is personalization. Now with the ton of content which is getting created, thanks to AI, thanks to digital platforms and whatnot, how can I grab that attention? That is only possible through personalization of the cohorts that I'm targeting. So we at Netradyne, let's say, looking at multiple verticals. When I go to oil and gas companies, we talk about their language, what they're going through, their regulations. When I go to pharma company, the language completely changes. Within those companies, if I'm talking to CTO, if I'm talking to operations guy, the language changes, the value proposition changes. Place. How many of you heard about Perplexity? Almost everybody? Do you know it's a 3 years old company? 3 years old company. Of course, they have got a wonderful product, but it's not new. It's not new. ChatGPT was there already, right? But something different they have done across these 4 P's, which I'm going to talk about. But one thing they did very disruptive was partnership with telecom vendors, with telecom providers. Airtel. You are an Airtel user, you get Perplexity Pro. Now they are making you addictive to their app. Next year they will charge you, and you will pay. All of us will pay, right? So that's the model, because we as startup, we can't be everywhere. We can't have a store everywhere. We can't have a reseller everywhere. So partnerships play a big role in really addressing the place bit of it. The fourth, which is extremely important, and that's where Netradyne is spending heavily. When I say spend, less money, more time, is public relations and personal branding. If you look at some of the startup founders, let's say Abhishek from MyGate, extremely active on LinkedIn, sharing stories, not selling their product, by the way, very little. Manu Jain, and all of us know, selling their own stories, sharing their own stories, right? That's making an impact. Again, going back to personalization, there's a lot of humanization happening through all this process, and the way we founders can do. You founders, I'm not one yet, right? Really share your stories, your struggles, your customer wins, even your failures, right? Your product bugs and whatnot, right? The once you share it, the authenticity comes in. People start connecting with you, whether it is employees, whether it is customers, whether it is investors, whether it is media and engagement. But now the biggest factor comes is AI. What do I do with that? I don't feel bad in accepting the fact that we marketeers are really abusing the word AI. Everything is AI, and it's creating the FOMO. But the real thing is the authenticity, right? Your real stories. AI is just an amplifier. Your own voice, your own challenges is the core, and I don't think that is going to change. So this is what we are following. One best practice I'm sharing here. We at Netradyne have been doing press conferences, as a part of PR. I don't know how many of you have done it, but it's a beautiful tactic to really engage with key media influencers and journalists on one-on-one basis, right? Of course, you can't do it for every news update that you may have. So we do it typically, one or two in the year, where we have a large customer acquisition happening or any new product launch that is happening, which is very disruptive in nature. We call the media journalist in a room like this, present them the story, present them the impact, and then the magic happens. All of them, see, they have their own KPIs. They want to write something new, right? You give them that meat, right? So the pictures that you see here, are the customer announcements primarily. Green Line is an SR Group company. Then we have got Eminent Transit, which is into employee transportation, and Darcel, which is a Korean conglomerate into transportation. The moment we made that announcement in front of the media, all of them started writing their own stories. How does it impact Indian economy, not just from transportation perspective, but from safety perspective, right? And that did a lot of magic. So probably one thing you may want to explore with your team is look at the opportunities where you can interact with media, because anything comes in Times of India, people will follow. You see all these articles here, and all these are organic, by the way. We have not paid a single penny for this. We approached the media personnel, and I think the first story, the one in the middle that you see, which says Netradyne in red, that was out in 2022 in Times Techies. Reliance is one of our early investors, Series A, and they participated in Series B as well afterwards. My CEO got a call from Reliance's office that they saw this article and they were happy about this. Investor at a level of Reliance Industries, big deal. So all of these stories, when your investors, customers, again, all those four personas, they feel proud about it. And that's where we are spending a lot of time with engaging with the media, with the journalists, and that does a lot of magic, right? These are two blogs, two of our investors. We have got a huge list of investors: SoftBank, 0.72, Microsoft, Reliance, of course. They also write about us. We're not asking them, right? Qualcomm Ventures, which participated in Series D late last year, right? They wrote a blog that why did they invest in Netradyne, right? Likewise, Touring Capital. So that's how we are increasing. Now you may say, okay, all that is good, Amit, very well. Ultimately, धंधे पे क्या impact आता है बाप? क्योंकि सब कुछ तो धंधे पे matter करता है. What you see here, the chart is from early years, 22, 23, inbound leads. All of us may have, telecallers, digital marketing, where they push out messages to get leads, right? The conversion of those leads, those outbound leads, is way lower than an inbound lead. Anyone calls you and says, I want to inquire about your product, the probability of buying from you is way higher than anyone you approach. Anyone who would disagree with this? Right? When you approach a brand, you're somewhere inclined towards it. The bar here shows, and I've deleted the number because I didn't want to showcase that, that's confidential. But that shows, without spending any money on paid ads, no ATL, no BTL, no radio ads, no newspaper ad, nothing. Pure play PR and branding. The spike in our inbound leads, quarter on quarter. And that's again the magic of branding. Employees, this is a snapshot from LinkedIn, where the employees of the top tech companies are looking at jobs at Netradyne, right? Who would not want it? And of course, we are getting a ton of now resumes. Our HR team used to have struggle earlier, but the applications, the acceptance, the conversions have just elevated because they want to work with a company which is known. We are still not Google. I would accept that, but it's a step towards it. So that's all I want to share. Overall, your whole marketing ecosystem has to be integrated, right? Nothing can work in silos. Depending on your stage, depending on your budgets, you integrate it and then really drive it. But what matters is the humanization. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.